know that winning is only a question of probability. So what's the winning game of Homo sapiens in 2020 after 3 months of confinement, a global pandemic, and a racial revolution? What odds are we really playing with today? Do we want our winning hand to be one in which we continue to exploit our vital resources and create more inequalities between humans for the pursuit of more perceived wealth and power for a happy few? Where we exploit the earth to produce more and create more needs to feed our ever-growing desire for endless satisfaction and pleasure, while we watch the downfall of the others? Can we really continue to think that our winnings do not come at the cost of someone else's loss? So what do you think are the odds that this will actually benefit anyone, let alone you? Climate scientists are telling us loud and clear that the odds are very low, that our current way of life is sustainable, and it gets worse every year. Odds are very high that the future of warfare isn't on the battlefield anymore, but on our screens, playing with our perceptions of truth, power, and legitimacy. Just look at the power of deepfakes that are rapidly pushing us into a post-truth world. Odds are low for old school command and control managers, when leaders are finding that being humane, equalitarian, and value-driven is way more effective to drive innovation and creativity. Watch the rise of conscious leaders. Odds are high on the need for a true consensus on the introduction of more ethics in the management of personal data, scientific investigation, the writing of code behind each algorithm that powers artificial intelligence, the autonomy of robots, the running of elections, and even the exercise of democracy. Odds are low that businesses that only think of profit will continue to grow. When Fortune 500 CEOs are declaring a move from shareholder value to stakeholder value, from a single focus on profit to asking themselves, what benefit are they bringing? Looking at the impact of an enterprise on all the actors of a business, employees, suppliers, stakeholders, the environment, and society as a whole. Odds are very high that society's tolerance for radical injustice is rapidly decreasing. Odds are very low that we will be able to stop the ever-growing impact of automation and machine learning, soon powered by quantum physics, to penetrate all dimensions of our lives. Odds are very high that the biggest challenge for humanity today, which is not tackled frontally, is the growth of its population to 8 billion in 2050, and 8 years from now to 12 billion. And the list goes on and on. So, are statistics playing in our favor, in favor of Homo sapiens survival, or against it? Are we chopping off the branch of the tree on which we're sitting today? Or are we going to stop the chopping and start looking after the tree? I think the time has come to use the insatiable, intrepid, and daring energy of Homo sapiens toward attending to another game, equally as difficult. The conquest of ourselves and the 3 things we're all born with, the exact same as 200,000 years ago: a body, a mind, and a soul. First, a body. It's a complex system, and it's no different to nature that surrounds us. It's driven by water that makes up 60% of our bodies, electricity that fires our brain and our nerves, chemicals that direct our organs, and cycles that determine what we can and cannot do, air coming in and out of our lungs, nutrients without which we can't survive, fluids that circulate and cleanse us and nurture us. What are we doing to maintain and nurture this insatiable body? Second, we have an oh so fragile mind. It withers, it trembles at the passage of a feeling, an emotion, a body sensation, a thought, or an impulse. And trying to stop any of them is like trying to stop the waves in the ocean. So what are we doing to tame this intrepid mind? And finally, we all have a soul that is longing for a profound connection with our body and our mind, to bore a hole deep enough to access its profound purpose, so that finally we're able to align our intentions and thoughts with our words and actions, and help us leave the world a little better than we found it. What are we doing, really, to guide our daring souls? When I was 14, my math teacher had a love-hate relationship with me. She one day thought I was wonderful, and then the next day she picked on me, and I didn't really know why. And that particular day where she picked on me was the day I told her I did not know what I wanted to do in life. And so on the way home in the lift, back home, I thought, I think I just want to be happy, and it seemed quite simple. And then I was 17, and we studied philosophy in school, and I suddenly started feeling this dissociation between the body, the mind, the soul. There was battle going on inside. And frankly, it was torture. I was not happy. I had no idea how to teach those three to come to peace with one another. The body wanted to move and experience new things. The mind was tormented by thoughts and motions and 1,000 impulses to do all the things that were happening around me. And the soul, it couldn't really speak yet. So, of course, my thinking was very heavily influenced by the dualists, Plato and Descartes, that we studied in Paris in Terminale. And their idea is that the body and the mind are two separate entities. But are they really? And then I started studying law, and that seemed to calm me down from that perspective. Facts, a rule, apply the rule to facts, and conclude. It's pretty simple, right? But it worked for a while, and then for the next 20 years, I think I encountered probably 3 big obstacles. First, when I became a manager, I was suddenly responsible for the professional flourishing of a group of people. I now had the ability to influence their behaviors and their lives. And of course, I was honored and frightened at the same time. Was I really worthy of this trust and responsibility? I overcame the challenge through experiencing what Dan Pink talks about when he says it's a subtle mix of autonomy and mastery. And for that, I'm grateful to the managers in the Cisco legal department. They really helped me become the leader I am today. I found I was suddenly allowed to let loose the intrepid and curious person that was appearing inside me. Second, after years of work filled with adrenaline, and oh, I loved that adrenaline. One exciting challenge after the other, a marriage and the birth of our daughter, my body started failing me. I witnessed how the body and the mind were craving for calm and rest. And I learned the hard way that happiness is a skill. It requires discipline, and discipline of the mind in particular, and nurture and love of the body, like a delicate plant every single day. And thirdly, after 15 years of leadership, job changes, and this transformational executive masters at IE in 2015, I was forced to face a fact. I was disconnected from my purpose, the one with a big P, and the everyday one with a small p. And this last journey has actually brought me full circle to the bit obscure work of my grandfather, Edouard. He invented in his late years a philosophy he called orthologic, the logic centered around man. He claimed that practicing his teachings would lead to the emergence of a homo liber, a free man, and freed by science from the oppression of animal instincts of lust for power and greed. Essentially, his invitation was to nurture the power of reflection to overcome instinct. And today, I'm here with you all because at the end of the day, I find that my interrogation is very similar to my grandfather's. How can we guide our daring souls so that we contribute to humanity rather than deplete it so that we stop thinking we can trick the system when we've created it ourselves. So against all odds, on the contrary, perhaps aligned with all the odds, the journey has taken me to becoming the academic director of IE's Center for Health, Wellbeing and Happiness. And we started in the second semester. We want to bring to IE students the skills that will help them perform during their time at IE, but also afterwards in their lives, improving their own life, but more importantly, improving the lives of other people around them. Suddenly, happiness is just another seminar you can take at university. What were the odds of that? If I look back, sometimes I played hard and I took a few exciting gambles. They all showed me that body, mind, and soul are inextricably linked to each other. When one fails over time, you may not see it immediately, the others end up failing too. So today, I wish that Homo sapiens were able, with all that we've learned and seen, to take a gamble and press the button reset, to go back to understanding these three simple parts of who we are: the body, the mind, the soul. And to reset means to set again or differently. And my hope is that if we were to respect ourselves just a little more, to understand ourselves a little more, the world would be the first one to benefit. And if we were to believe that really the only way forward is diving headfirst into technological singularity, a world that has given birth to a machine-led superintelligence that will complement or overtake our human intelligence, then let's think long and hard about how that should take place. Do we want more domination or more harmony? Today, I'm really challenging you. Reflect. Which kind of Homo sapiens are you when you play the game of life? Are you the one that believes that the world is just one big gambling table where you sit with another 7.8 billion human beings throwing dice, waiting for a random result? Or on the contrary, do you think there's no such thing as an odd at all, but rather a string of predictable results, all driven by the smartest person in the room? Do you really want to keep on tricking the system when actually we've all created the system together? And maybe you're someone who thinks that the life of Sisyphus, he played some tricks himself and he was condemned to pushing the boulder up the hill for the rest of his life, and then it fell down and he did it again. And therefore the only prophecy for Homo sapiens is that he was leading the only possible life. Are you really aware of the odds that you're playing with? Or is the game a very simple one? You win, I lose, you lose, I win. I'm the submissive, you're the dominator. You give up everything and I keep it all? What are the odds that Homo sapiens will choose to go back to basics, to overcome envy, hate, materialism, narcissism, excessive power, and cynicism, so that we can power up gratitude, compassion, solidarity, altruism, human environmental consciousness? And last but not least, what are the odds that a reset could dramatically improve our lives and our chances of survival? In the words of Nassim Nicholas Taleb, this reset could have been a complete black swan before the global pandemic, the global lockdown, and the racial revolution that is taking place as we speak around the world. But now, seeing all that has happened, I think we have a choice. Can we choose how many favorable outcomes we want to put in our game in view of the numerous unfavorable outcomes, future or existing? Homo sapiens of 2020, take your bets. Thank you.